Hey guys, what's up? Liru, the Lance Corporal here, and I have been asked multiple times to set up some Zeus tutorial missions, and now that I've got some spare time, I will be putting out some very detailed tutorials going into everything from setting up Zeus missions to what all the buttons means, individual episodes for Ares and Achilles, and literally going through everything we have and just talking about them, how to use them, some tips and tricks, even a few demonstrations via public Zeusing on Ahoy World. Now, if you notice, I'm actually in the Eden editor right now, which isn't technically Zeus, but it's absolutely vital to know how to set up your Zeus mission, how to set up your factions, how to set up your Zeus slot. And a thing that a lot of tutorial videos lack these days is getting you from point A to B to C in terms of Arma, especially with modding, scripting, and just setting everything up. So I'm actually going to be working with another guy by the name of Shadow, who actually does all of the scripting server stuff for myself and Luton09, and when he finishes his series, I will be sure to link it in mine. But for now, I'm just going to go over my thought process and how to set every little detail up for making a general non-scripted Zeus op. So let's say I want to host a CSAT style op and have them take on Kavala or the castle and use the stadium area as a staging area. So what I would first do is I want to make this for 40 slots, so we I hold left control and I would drop 5 squads. And this is 8 times 5, so 40. And then I would select them all, right click, attributes, scroll down, playable. This sets them all to playable slots when they join the server. Now I would in addition need myself to have a slot. For Zeus, I normally like to pick the officer. And I'll put him back here, make sure he's not attached to any of the squads, because I don't want him grouped with the other units. I will double click. Usually I make him the player role for testing purposes. He gets defaultly set as player. And any unit you want to put a custom role description to, you would just type that here. So that's to set up the slot itself. Also, a quick tip. The order of units that you place and make playable is the order that they will appear in the roster. So I've put this guy last, so he will appear on the bottom of the roster. I like to hide myself in the Zeus slot a bit. Also make sure you are careful with the placement of units. Sometimes this happens over interesting terrain. So from here, I would go to Systems, Zeus, Game Master, and there's two things I do. Number one, Owner, you put in your player ID, which is also your Steam ID, and that would set any slot that you join, even if it wasn't your Zeus slot, would get this UID. And I usually do that for personal administrative purposes. But otherwise, what you can do is double click and type admin logged. And if you forget how to put it, it's literally right here. Just hover over the owner, and if you see in the middle line, admin logged or admin voted. So if you have the admin password, you type, you hit the backspace key and type hashtag login and then space whatever the admin password is, you'll also get Zeus. And that's a very nice feature if you want to have multiple admins on administrating at the time. I know sometimes I get on the server before Luton and set a few things up. And just from there, it's so that we don't have to have everyone's UID at once, and that can get a little bit messy to coordinate. Now, we have to still set up some respawn points and some revive systems, so I just like to use vanilla. You go to attributes and then multiplayer. This doesn't matter, but you can click Zeus. Min and max, you can set a min and max, but if you keep it 0, 0, that just means any amount can join the server as long as you set up the server setting. Summary of the mission, doesn't matter. Make sure you uncheck enable AI, because if you allow it, if someone were to join this slot, then all of these slots would become AI unless a player joins in. So they would just follow this unit around and be dumb AI, and that's never good. This is very important. You want to set that to custom position, and then you can show respawn counter. You also want to select respawn position. And then you can put a timer. Make sure it's not 0, otherwise it can glitch out. So at least set it to 3 seconds. I usually like 10 to 15, depending on the op. Vehicle respawn delay, we don't have to worry about that right now. And now our revive system. So what I normally do when I do vanilla stuff, it's more so I'm I have a bunch of new players to deal with, and I screen people for loot. And so what I like to do is just enable it for all players, no required trait. Medics, they're your combat lifesavers. Anyone with this symbol over here, your little inner circle looking objects within that symbol. I forgot to hit save too, or okay, I'm in okay when you're done, so let me just quickly reset the settings. And then they have to either have a medikit or they could use a first aid kit and then consume the first aid kit upon revive. This is what I normally use. I usually bring this up to 12. And this is a feature with a mod called 3DEN Enhanced. And what this allows is for the U key menu system. I'll put a link to that mod in the chat. Everything else you don't really need to worry about. One other useful thing, you can set a title yourself as the author. Pictures, that's more script side. Again, I'll be sure to link shadow. Another very important thing, if you want to use green 4 units, you can set them to be hostile or friendly to NATO or CSAT forces. Swords means hostile, handshake means friendly, useful for the type of op you want to do. And then your intro text, which make sure you put at least a 5 to 10 second delay so people that load in quickly or load in late, sometimes it glitches out for them, but I like to put something funny. They get a little bit of a laugh out of that. After that, you hit OK. Everything looks good. Now, all you have to do is set your respawn point. Now, there's 2 ways to do this. There's the older way, what most videos will tell you how to do, since I actually have yet to find a video that uses the newer system. But the old way is you click on your marker, which is F6, then the system, open an empty, click on empty, and you click. And this will only appear on the map, so make sure you do it on the map. Then you would double click, and then under this variable name, we're using CSAT for example, so you would type this in, then you can put some text in, and then set its color, red, whatever, since CSAT takes red. And the other 2, I will show the other 2 names in a moment, but this is very important because if this is spelled wrong, it won't do it properly. Now, the actual names themselves, if you actually come down, go to respawn, hover over custom point, you see that if you just type respawn, anyone can spawn there. Respawn west would be a blue 4 spawn, respawn east, op 4 spawn, respawn gorilla, civilian, and so on. The syntax is very important. Otherwise, people won't be able to respond properly. Now, the more modern way to do it, which ironically enough, I only learned this recently, again by Shadow, thank him. You go to your systems, just type respawn, and then boom, respawn position. And you can put this anywhere. It'll appear as a module. You can name it again. Type infantry, leading side, you set its side to op 4. Show to, I only usually show it to the side. Notification, that's only for vehicles, I just disable that. Hit OK. Now the most important part. Scenario, you're going to want to save it. Everything I frickin' worked on in the past 2 days, I haven't gotten around to deleting. You save it. Also, Eden Editor will autosave every, it's either 15 or 30 minutes. Actually, don't have the exact number, but it does autosave. Then you want to go to export and export to multiplayer. And remember, you can always test the mod by coming down here, clicking on play in multiplayer. God, I can't type tonight. do that, whatever, and then you'll have all the slots you put. And then right below the slot I named for myself, that officer slot, hit OK. Hit continue. And boom. Now if you hit the Y button, there's the chat. And there you go. You are right in the editor. So from here, you're free to do whatever you want. And that's pretty much it for this episode. So I will get into base core mechanics for all of these features with Zeus over the course of the next 2 episodes. First one will just be talking about these. The second one will be going into some deeper understanding, such as hotkeys, AI pathing, and just how to work with all of the things that we talk about. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.